Two raiders plumb the depths of their experience to make sense of a world gone completely insane. Subscribe for the word. Like and leave a comment. Stranger by the Hour.
All right, everybody, welcome back to Stranger by the Hour, episode 150.
Damn, I can't believe we've done this 150 times.
150. Well, actually, yeah, because we didn't, we have more than that, but 150 officially.
Yeah, there's probably like 170 or something.
Yeah.
There's probably been like 20 little one-off weird ones.
Yeah, at least.
Do our like solo ones from our man caves in Iraq and shit.
Like bonus episodes with Brad.
Yeah, so probably, damn.
So it's February 22nd.
Yeah.
2025.
Yes.
And we are now, are we a month? We're not a month in, are we?
Yeah, we're a month and some days.
And what I mean by a month in, of course, is the reign of Donald J. Trump, our Lord and Savior.
Of King Don Trump.
Yeah.
Dude, I've had a real like change of I just really do feel like I'm becoming more and more detached from all this shit, which is not good for having a show where you talk about this shit. We might have to like, I don't know if you're going down the same route, but like I'm almost like I'm just more interested in like the metaphysical stuff that's behind all this shit.
Yes.
Like, I am. So where I'm at right now is because it's like like a lot of how I judge like where I shake out is like via my arguments with people on Twitter, which probably isn't a great because that's not real life, but it's like I'm watching all these people just like they're so stoked about all the Trump and Musk stuff.
Yeah.
And so my initial reaction was like, you guys are such slaves. You're such Muppets. Don't you know it's Zion Dawn and Baphomet Musk and it's all fake. These people are but then I'm like, but so fuck that for a second. Do I like some of these things that are happening? Yes.
Right.
And so like, okay, well, how about just take it a la carte? Like one thing at a time. Like, do I like that they just fired the dopey chairman of Joint Chiefs woke dumbass? Yeah, yes. Of course I like that.
Yes.
Now, do I like that Pete Hegseth guy? No, I think he's a fucking weirdo.
Pretty wingnut, yeah.
I think he's a Zion. They're all Zionists. But okay, so is most people at this point.
Yeah, I mean, if they're not beating down the doors of places demanding that the bomb stop falling, I mean,
well, right.
Or it's like, look, what the fuck are you going to do about it, right? Like, what?
Yeah,
somewhere way above us in a decision making matrix are the people that are deciding to bomb those fucking people, and like nothing I can do is ever going to change that.
No. And I don't even like when I'm arguing about this shit, I don't advocate for any specific thing other than like I just say what I believe to be the case, and I go because immediately everybody wants to put you in a binary. Oh, you don't like Trump, you're a Dem. Oh, you don't like Israel bombing Gaza, then you're pro Hamas. Like I'm not pro Hamas. Like
because people have been brainwashed into only look at
teams,
the dialectic.
Yeah, the dialectic. Like, are you a fucking Eagles fan, or I don't even remember who they played in the Super Bowl?
It's like, oh, you're not a white square, you must be a black square.
Right. And
it's like, no, I'm not trying to be on the board.
And because it makes people uncomfortable when you're not that, because they don't know where to put you.
Yeah. They can't deal with their interaction through heuristics.
That's right. And we're in such a politically charged like culture now where they need to know where you are because they need to know what they can say around you.
Right. Yeah.
Especially in a corporate environment. I don't like,
oh, bro,
it's cool where I'm at because it's small, and it's very funny because they're starting to like learn more about me.
Yeah.
And like, we're crazy compared to like normal people. So, but I've been real good about, dude,
like,
it's like
life experience crazy.
Yeah. Life experience crazy. So like here, I'll give you one. It's just kind of the way we talk and shit. Right. So, the other day there was a 2-hour delay for MAP school because of the weather. And so I'm like, before I leave the house, I'm like, bro, like, hey, got to stay on top of the time. The bus is going to be 2 hours late. I'll call you. But I had and it was like going to be at 10. The bus was going to be there.
Okay.
I had a meeting, like a Zoom, so I like before like 10 minutes, like 9:50, I called Mav. I'm like, yeah, I'm going into a meeting, but I need you to stay on top of the time and get your ass to the bus. He's like, yeah, totally. I come out of the meeting. It's like 10:35 or something. And I have a missed call and I call Maverick and he's like upset. He's like, I'm so stupid. I'm sorry. I'm like, what? Just calm down. Well, I had to go to the bathroom and there's like one of those, I think it's gross to read in the shitter. So this is not my doing, but in the bathroom, there's one of those world's best bathroom reader or whatever, like stories and whatever.
Yeah.
He was reading the fucking bathroom reader, taking a shit and missed his fucking extract. Right. So, no, okay, fine. This is no big deal. But anyway, so I get it. I'm like, all right, dude, let's problem solve. I'm going to get you an Uber and you can take an Uber to school. You know what I mean? A little solo mission, right? So I get the Uber going and then I come back to like our little desk area and the guys are there and I'm like fucking with my phone and I'm like, dude, I'm just stressed out right now because my kid's in an Uber with some guy, and they're like, oh yeah. And I told them what was going on. I'm like, I'm like, if that guy does anything to my son, then I'm gonna have to fucking find him and kill him, and then I go to fucking prison for the rest of my life. It's just, am I spooling it out, right? And they're like looking at me, and I'm like, haha. But they're like, you could probably do it too. I'm like,
I mean, I don't think
probably.
I don't think the part where you go to prison is going to be there because I would talk you off the edge, and we would somehow get enough degrees of we would find a homie.
Something would happen to the guy. Yeah.
Not a big deal. You know what I'm saying? Like, but killing him is step one.
But I mean, like in my last
and
job,
his fucking family.
In our last job, and in like the way I spent my life, something like that, everybody would be like, yeah, and like you said, no, we'd find a different way to kill him. But these guys are like, they don't know how to take it, But the other thing is like, I'm feeling these guys up too, because one of the guys. And these are like, these guys all have like Ivy League. Like one guy went to Columbia, the other guy went to, so these are like those kind of guys. And the one guy is definitely a liberal. He was, but he's not obnoxious about it or anything. But I can just know he is. His wife's a doctor. He was on what do you call it? It's like they go overseas and they do gooder stuff like build wells and
fucking Peace Corps.
Peace Corps. He was in the Peace Corps when he got out of college.
He was a placement access front for the CIA.
That's what I was talking to him about, but he wasn't. Like he was not that. They don't use
I'm saying right. I'm saying no, he was the schmuck that was there, the unwitting schmuck that was there.
Unwitting,
yeah. For the dude with the weird tie and the clipboard that nobody knows what the fuck he's doing. Yeah.
But and then the other guys, like with the USAID stuff, which we talk about that. While all that was coming out, he, from going to college where he went, he knows a bunch of people that are foreign service officers, and he knows people that are USAID folks. And so he's kind of, him and his circle of people are like freaked out by the whole thing.
Yeah.
And I'm like telling him, I'm like, and then I haven't followed up with him, but I'm like, because I happened to, before we were talking about that, I happened to listen to Mike Benz on Rogan. So I listened to the last time he was on and found it pretty compelling. So I listened again he was just on the other day and he broke down the USAID thing like big time.
Okay.
Good. It just goes through all the nauseating details about what they do and how they are just, when the Church Commission stuff happened in the 70s and the crackdown happened on the CIA just flexed, or they just moved that capability over to USAID. So this is like soft power projection stuff.
Yeah.
And I'm telling him, I'm like, look, man, this is how we create. And this is Mike Benz's term for it. I'm stealing it from him. But he's like, hey, look, we create the Truman Show in these third world countries that we need something from, whether it's to oppose their neighbor who's our bigger threat, or it's resources, or it's some economic hitman stuff. Like we create the Truman Show. We control their popular culture. We control their news. We control who sits in what seats in their government. We create this, diorama that they fucking live in.
Yeah.
Right. And so I'm telling him this stuff, and that doesn't match his understanding of what USAID is from his friends that work there that are only going to tell him like the positive.
Well, and they probably don't know.
They don't know, right? They don't know what they're, right? So I could tell like he was like, wow, that's crazy. And then I could tell like he might be thinking I'm nuts. I'm like, dude, please listen to this guy, this Mike Benz guy on Rogan,
Well, Rogan's a good, Rogan's like the kiddie pool for normies that are getting out of the the meta narrative, geopolitics 101 narrative. They're getting out of that narrative and they're getting out into a little deep water. And Rogan is like the very first lifeguard.
That's a good point. And
You know?
I think as this, because so like what's happening right now, like we've been talking this for years now. This is an apocalypse, is the lifting of a veil.
Yeah.
People are being shown what the reality
Yeah.
is behind the scenes. And it's really happening. Like, not at the level of like the Q-tard said. Like, I don't think we're ever going to see Hillary and Gitmo or anything.
I don't think so.
A lot more is happening than I would have thought. Like this is shattering people's paradigm. Or
we could be totally wrong, and it's about to go batshit crazy to the right, dude. Because if they keep dropping the fucking digits,
what do you mean dropping the digits?
Like showing all this fraud.
How
soon is it that we're going to get to that there is no law for you to pay taxes?
Well, we're real close because,
you know,
again, I keep like saying I'm going to deep dive it, you know, and like learn for my own. But I mean, I think it's the 14th Amendment stuff. Like, it says right in the way the thing's written up that it's a voluntary remittance, and then you have to figure it out or pay someone at fucking
H&R
Jackson
Block.
Hewitt or whatever. Right? Like you pay IRS.
You go in there to snitch on yourself.
I crunched some numbers. This is what I owe you, but a little less because I have a home office, 500 square feet, you know, or whatever. You know, and it's silly.
Dude, I had done not back to back. I did a 4-month deployment in Iraq, 4 or 5-ish month. And I came home for like 4 or 5-ish months. The dude who was supposed to go had like a stomach thing go down. So I went again.
Yep. You made too much money.
And I made a nice little chunk, man. So I came back and I do my taxes for that year. And I'm looking at, you know, what I'm like, oh, you know, not too bad. And I hear what I'm going to get back.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm going to get back like $6,000 or some shit. And so like as a peasant, I'm all of a sudden excited.
Yeah.
But like not noticing that I look down again, dude, I paid like 70 G's in fucking income tax, dude.
Which is crazy.
I'm like,
dude,
wait a minute.
And it's crazy because I got in an argument with Natasha about this the other day, actually, because I'm like, I made an offhand comment. I'm like, look, it's not like there's a 1-to-1 ratio or whatever between what they take from you and what they apply to what we consider to be the public good. All of what they collect from taxes just goes to service the debt. None of it funds anything. That's what people and she like straight up to my face was like, that's not how it works. And I go,
there's this thing called the internet.
I'm a fucking lunatic, like with Asperger's, like levels of shit. Like I look into this stuff, you know what I mean? I'm like, it does. And she goes, no, it pays. She's like, it pays for the roads, it pays for the schools. I'm like, you know what pays for the schools in this state and most states? The lottery. The lottery pays for it. And
California too, I think.
And I'm talking about federal income tax, not the state tax, not your property tax. Your property tax pays for the schools, not, dude. And it's not even that like they take my money and buy hellfires with it. It's not even that. It's literally it's a purposeful burden to stop class mobility and to tax you, to fuck with you.
It's right in the name, right? So you're talking to somebody that drives race cars and you tell them that we're going to put a governor on the race car.
Yeah.
So it doesn't, your Bugatti off the shelf doesn't do 280 or whatever. It's only going to do 55 miles an hour. Because it's got a governor on.
Yeah.
And you're like, oh, well, my state has a governor. Yeah, no shit, it does.
Yeah.
You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
Yeah. You like the government is governing us. Dude, if I didn't have to fucking they weren't in Iraq with me, you know what I'm saying? Like I literally kicked in like 70 fucking G's of income tax, dude. Like that would go a lot further here at the fucking farm than it went anywhere else. Dude, how much further in your life would you be if for like that entire time we were on that gig together, like that you didn't pay income tax?
Dude, and like I'm saying, like they just took the money from you. They didn't, it's not like they bought anything with it. They just slid it into a ledger.
It's just so you
they
could
just
get
didn't
less.
Want you to have it.
Right.
Yeah.
They're like, oh, like wait a minute. Like you could have paid your house off.
Dude, like here's the other thing. Like I'm not on this like crusader shit anymore. So like I would be perfectly fine if this were the case. If the tax code were such that the IRS collects an income tax from everybody and everybody pays it and everybody bitches and it's too high and the rich people don't have to pay it because they have loopholes and all this stuff that we know about tax, right?
Mm-hmm.
that can all be the case, and this might actually be the case, but it might just be the case that if you know what you're doing and you understand the tax code and you understand what you need to do to make it so you don't pay taxes, it could be the case that the degree to which you pay taxes is directly related to how much effort you put into figuring out not having to pay them. I am okay with that. Like, these people are dishonest goblins and they're stealing. They're gangsters, right?
Yeah.
But I think, because back to the natural law thing, because they're gangsters, but this is not, the world works in a more mysterious way than, than the Sopranos or something, right? Like, I do think that there's natural law, and I think that they have to operate in a way that, like, dude, it's like they have to show. It's like, what's with all the symbolism all the time and all that? It's like, because they have to show you. I think they have to give you the opportunity to to step into your own power, if that makes sense. Like,
Yeah.
dude, if I this is my own shortcoming. I think I could figure out a way to not pay taxes and not go to prison. I think it's possible.
I mean, people have done it.
Well, that's based on the amount that I've looked into it so far. I think that that's within the realm of possible. It's my laziness, dude, and it's like, I am busy, but I have this thought a lot. There's shit I want to do. Like, I want to write more. I want to figure out this tax shit and all this. But it's like, I know that it's possible. Like, I could get up 90 minutes earlier. I could do that. Like, I get up a couple hours later than I used to get up for most of my life.
Right.
I used to get up at 5 in the, we did in the military, depending on what you got going on, most time 5:30, 6 late you're sleeping in.
Yeah.
I did that forever.
Yeah. 6, you're starting to get worried.
You're like, fuck.
Like, I'm gonna be late for something.
Yeah, right. Yeah. So to the point where, I don't know if you were this way, I'd set an alarm, but I woke up before the alarm. Yeah. Dude, I can't wake up before an alarm now. No fucking way, dude.
Right.
So, okay, so I know it's possible that I could be using more of the hours of my day. And at some point, if it becomes important enough to me, I will.
Yeah.
Until then, I don't care about the taxes that much. I'm going to pay them this year, but I'm not going to bitch as much as I normally. I'm just I'm just starting to tolerate shit that I haven't solved it yet. So I'm like, dude, the amount of anger I feel about these things anymore, I'm like, it's just not, I'm not getting any, the anger's not driving me to handle the problem. It's not a good motivator,
I think that's part of the giant epidysgenics, or the program of abuse that we all live under, is to eventually get you to the point where you don't care about it anymore.
Well, okay, but I don't think that I think you can be abused into that where you're just beaten down and docile.
Yeah,
that's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about, I was texting with my brother about this. I can't remember how we got on it, but I'm like, dude, you come to a point where you learn that there's nowhere to go and there's nothing to do.
Yeah.
We've been out in the world. We've done all kinds of shit.
Yeah.
All over the place, doing all kinds of shit. And dude, it's all the striving and shit. Maybe it's my age or something. I don't know, or something wrong with me, but I'm no, there's nowhere to go. You could just sit. Once you know the technique and you have this understanding about the world, everything I need would be right here. All other things being handled, my other responsibilities attended to, I could be perfectly content sitting here.
I mean, that's kind of the goal, basically, because if you think about it, your natural state as a human is not this ridiculous rat race we live in, dude.
Fuck no.
For thousands of years, once you ate enough for that day, you would park your ass under a tree.
Yeah.
And just watch the motherfucking creation, man. There would be,
you'd stare at it in fascination, and every once in a while someone would be like, dude, you know what I noticed?
Yeah.
And you're like, no shit. And then you figure something out.
The whole time it does the same thing.
Dude, and then
you're fucking right. A
couple times a month they bust the drums out, everybody fucking runs around in a circle.
You know what I'm saying? They eat mushrooms and fucking, hey man.
Dude,
that's the natural state of humanity. This is induced panic. This is wide scale fucking abuse, man.
Even me and you and our listeners that know better. What we're doing most of our time is attending to an obscene, bureaucratic, the amount of time I'm fussing with bureaucratic administrative tasks. Dude, fuck that. Like some people like Natasha, no problem with it. Happy to like pay the cable bill. It's a tyranny to me at this point. And
Yeah,
I'm getting
dude.
worse. I'm not getting better. I'm getting worse. I'm getting less responsible. I used to think I'm like, I'm not that good with my bills. I let shit slide. Dude,
Yeah.
I purposefully fucking I'll just be like, I'm like, I get in a panic. I'm like,
Yeah.
it's not the money. I
Right.
just can't possibly log into a thing anymore. Like,
Yeah,
it's like,
yeah.
dude, I can't type in the fucking phone number at the thing to get a discount at the like wherever, because everywhere I go, I have a phone number that has a discount. You know what I mean? Like
Dude,
at the Harris Teeter, I just can't. I'm like, no,
because every piece of that is a constructed. I'm fucking convinced, dude. Every little interface, every little hold time that takes 2 seconds too long, every loading screen for a fucking video game, dude.
Yeah.
Every little thing is a death of 1,000 cuts from these motherfuckers stealing life from you, dude.
Yeah, dude, it's
Like,
harvesting your fucking
it's-
life force.
Because if they can steal 1 second here, somebody asked one time, or I get this a lot, like if I'm shitting on the moon landing or something like that, and they're like, "Oh, bro, how much money did they embezzle? Like 2 billion?" Like, I'm like,
54 million a day or something.
right, and they'll be like, "Well, 54 million a day, that's nothing," because they're such fucking peasants that they're just okay with nobles stealing even $54 million a day.
Yeah,
they're just such fucking. But what I want to tell them is like, look, dude, you are dealing with evil that you can't fucking understand. Like maybe you haven't killed enough people.
You're dealing with the evil, like what it is. Like
you're dealing with people who own a fucking grenade factory, so they're billionaires. They're fucking
dude.
their product blows the hands, arms, and legs off of fucking little kids. Anybody it's putting hot shrapnel in everybody Tim Kennedy knows, right?
Yeah.
Like, and it would be like if that person goes out to dinner and while the waitress of the table isn't looking next door, they take the tip money.
Fuck yeah, they would.
A billionaire reaches over and takes the fucking tip money, slides in the pocket, out the fucking door.
Dude, you hear that about rich people? It's like that. There's a reason.
They're psychopaths,
dude. Which is crazy because dude, it's a mindset thing. I couldn't be like. I think there's a reason why I stay poor. Like I'd rather, dude, I don't care. I just don't I care enough about, I think about money sometimes because there's things I want to do with it in service of like what we're doing here.
Yeah.
But beyond that, I don't, dude, I have no like competitive, like striving anymore. Like I don't know, man. It's just hard for me not to see it all for what a unnecessary fucking scandalous scam it all is. It's so fucking stupid.
Well, that's not. So let's look at it like this. Let's flip it to a positive thing. There must come a time when we fucking say no to all this bullshit, man. Like, no, I'm not going to fucking log in. No, I'm not going to sign up.
Yeah.
Like, no, I'm not going to fucking wait on some stupid ass hold line. No, I don't care if I have a license for this bullshit. Like, no, I'm not going to call the fucking inspector to come make sure my woodshed is up correctly. We have to. The imposer only stops imposing, and everybody acts like they know it. Like, oh, the bully doesn't stop bullying until you punch him, bro. It's
yeah.
Well, hey, man, like we're all being bullied every day of our fucking lives,
dude. But this is an interesting thing to talk about because, like, okay, so it's like you're talking about like kind of walking away from all this shit, right? So like, it's conceivable that you could like, let's just say like you could find some like-minded people and you could set up a community, right? You're like, yeah, right. But I mean, let's say like increase the scale. Let's bring it to like a town size or something. So for however it comes to be, you're like, hey, look, there's this place. They're not into all this. They're gonna roll back to tech to like 1990s tech or something, right? We're gonna do this.
Hell yeah, man! Jogging with a Walkman.
But right off the bat, as soon as you intend to scale it up, because you can do it with your own life, no problem. There's people currently living, however, in various different ways. So personal, like one person, one family, or something, whatever. But if you try to scale it immediately, as soon as you establish this thing and everybody agrees, right? We're going to do this. We're not going to do that. Well, as soon as you do that, what becomes necessary is the application of force to maintain that standard. It's inescapable. Now, everybody agrees, fine. But as soon as people don't agree, then you have this problem. Then you have this disagreement that has to be arbitrated. So it's like you can't. I'm just convinced. That's why I don't care. I don't like government could be like our exact government, the exact system that it is, like however it is, all the fucking paperwork, Bill of Rights, Constitution, all the shit, right? It could be fucking great if it was completely executed by moral, amazing people. Then the whole thing would be great.
Yeah.
Okay. Same thing with like any kind of like replacement system. It's like, dude, it all has to be downstream of like a consciousness shift. Like you have to really have it so that people, which in my like understanding of history, takes like some sort of cataclysm or you know, something. People aren't just gonna, we're gonna bitch, you know, about things a little bit or whatever, but we're still going for the fucking ride. We're still headed towards brain chips at a lightning speed.
Oh yeah. And we were in Walmart last night, man, because we wanted to get some arts and crafts things. And there was it wasn't as bad as I usually never go to Walmart. Like I make it a point to not go to Walmart's because I'm bleak and dismal enough as it is. I don't need like I don't need that level of fucking reminder of my face, man.
Walmart's wild.
But even then, man, there's there's like a heavy lady in there pushing a baby who's fucking screaming, and she's talking with like some other heavily accented dude. We're in Virginia, and that's the accent, right? Like, you know, the baby doesn't know how to act. It's like, and you're looking and you're like, okay, I'm expecting this lady right now to, like, what am I expecting? Am I expecting that she's gonna like tune into the show?
Yeah, or have a nuanced opinion about her relationship with technology or food or where her food. No,
like, and
these people are barely alive, dude.
It's The Walking Dead.
Yeah,
like I think they call them The Walking Dead from a spiritual standpoint, but like it's whatever. Use it. It is what it is. Like
yeah. Well, look,
so what are we looking at then, right? So I was talking a little bit this like with Brad because I'm kind of with you, man. Like we've 4 years, 150 episodes or whatever. Like we've talked about this thing and we're mostly correct. I think there's a few things that we are probably, I don't know about incorrect, but like maybe we just haven't fleshed out. Yeah. But if you go back and listen to all of our episodes, man, like the thing is going the way we said it was going to go.
Yeah.
Well, apparently Kissinger and the dude and Google founder wrote a book together called like The Future of AI or some shit. Kissinger. And
I heard Eric Dyer talking about that before. I never got the book, but I did hear, or Jay Dyer, I heard him talking about that before.
I think I'm about to pick that up because I guess what they say in there is it goes two ways that with this AI thing. Either humanity looks at it like a new religion.
Yeah, which is what it's seeming so far.
Or all the elites get overthrown.
I like that.
So that's the reason I want to read that book because I want to read I want to read how they see the overthrowing of the elites going. Because you know what they're talking about is in the open. They're open air wargaming when they write those books.
Sure. Yeah, that is.
Yeah. And some people take the shit that they say for action. Yeah. And move forward on it, right?
Yep.
So if they're saying that this is the way the elites could possibly be overthrown with the development of AI, what they're blasting out in the open is, hey, fuckers, start nailing this shit down.
Yep. You're absolutely right about those books. Like a guy like Kissinger writes a book or whoever, you name it, right? So like it's foreign to us because we're not these people, but like, in the Ivy Leagues and in these families and stuff, there's little up and coming elites.
Yeah.
And they read those books to know what to tap into. That's what the New York Times is. The New York Times is like a dispatch to people with that paradigm.
Right.
And that's not I've heard people say that before. They're like, people take their marching orders from the New York Times. What am I supposed to think about this issue? New York Times says this, that's it.
And one level above that is the
Atlantic Council.
The Atlantic Council, and also what's the CFR's magazine?
Yeah,
their periodical.
Not The Economist, but
it's the
fuck. They send shit. I subscribed one time to that before. Now
I got an episode or an issue of Atlantic.
Foreign Affairs.
Yeah. And there are little discussions and essays in there. Have little lines. Dude, in Manly P. Hall's book, The Secret Teachings of All
It's a good book.
One of the last chapters is called cryptograms.
Okay, yeah.
And a cryptogram is people do it all the time on their emojis. Like, for example, if I'm talking to a thick Latina and like I go peach,
like AOC.
Yeah, like if me and AOC are texting, right? And I go peach, eggplant, water squirt. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like that's a cryptogram.
Yeah.
But she knows what it means.
That's right.
Right. And so what Manly P. Hall was saying is that like high level corporations
Oh fuck yeah.
use cryptograms.
Oh,
Like-
those things are like sigils.
Yeah, like all throughout things could be all the way to straight up code where you're using like every third letter of the fucking General Electric operating code for your whatever the fuck
Right.
cryptograms, right? Dude, that book was from like 1923.
That's yeah.
Do I think movies are cryptograms?
Yeah.
I think fucking TV series and shows, but basically like what is put forth as entertainment for the masses is cryptograms for other people.
Yeah.
And
I believe that.
I think if you're playing heads up ball and you're like looking around, it is literally like having the fucking eyes from they live on, dude. It's like,
Dude, it's so absurd to
one
believe
of the most famous ones. Go ahead.
that you know, going all the way back to ancient Greece and stuff, they've got these, and who knows how long before that, but let's just go with like the normie history. They had these things called mystery schools where they were in there studying the occult and learning.
Yeah.
Dude, to think that stopped and didn't continue, like, is absurd. Like, why would, like, it's like the normie disposition to that stuff is like, oh yeah, they used to like know all kinds of weird stuff back then. It's like, oh okay, and they just don't know it anymore.
Right.
You don't know it.
Right. They just here, this basically I'm looking at what I'm trying to look for right now is a shape that's on a ton of different buildings all over the place. You always pass it by and you always see it. It's basically, let me pull one up. Here we go. This one's a little bit better.
I hate that we don't have cool architect. Like, they should like when they
shouldn't this have like, anyway, try to bring this up bigger. Here, fuck it.
yeah, click it.
Doing it live, folks.
Yeah,
We don't have
old bank buildings.
I knew there would be one on a bank. Yo, show this
Medusa head.
Here we go.
The circle thing.
Yeah, this right here.
Okay, let's share it up there. I'll do it.
You'll see this on top of schools, on top of libraries.
Where'd it go? Did it disappear? No, there it is.
There it is right there. So so the top of the bank, right above the word bank.
Yeah, it's showing on the thing.
Okay, is what looks like a triangle and a circle. And so it's a little bit more pronounced in some places because the triangle is a little more triangular, you know. But essentially what that is usually, that's a square. So like it's usually more squared off. That's sort of like a longer triangle. So what you have is a square. So the square, the 90-degree angle, and a compass. A compass is used to make a circle.
Yeah, right.
So anytime you see a circle,
Oh, that's like
you're seeing a compass.
Okay, so it's like the Masonic.
Yeah, so you couldn't have a circle, a real circle, without using a compass. You could use a fucking stick and a line to do it, but the other thing it is indicative of is a square. So the bottom of the pyramid, the base, and then the triangle on top, the leadership, is a circle because the triangle makes a fucking circle.
Yeah, there you go.
So you normally see these on places like banks, schools, government buildings. And then you look around people's houses and they'll have them over their front doors and shit. Like they have a square and compass over their, like, just built.
Yeah.
Like it's kind of lazy design, but it's on almost everything. And then a lot of times that window will have a cross in it.
Yeah.
Or it'll have 8 panes of glass for the octagon or 6 panes of glass for the fucking hexagon. But that shape right there is a cryptogram to me. And I think it's like, you might as well have a fucking eye on a pyramid.
Right.
An all-seeing eye on a pyramid. It's the same fucking thing.
Yeah.
And it's over every building you go into, man. Like, dude, how dystopian is that shit?
Well, and again, I just
see if I can find another one.
I have the feeling increases, with every passing day, but like, I really feel like a daywalker in this reality, where it's like, I don't know how it all works, but I know that it's synthetic in so many ways. It's like, it's simultaneously real but it's synthetic. Like I'm here, I'm interacting physically with these objects and people and everything else, but like what I'm talking about with people, what people are thinking about, what they care about. A lot of that is constructed on our behalf and forced into our reality. Like, dude, not to complain about the people I work with because I do like them. Okay. Yep. There you go.
Right there.
But these people that I work with, all of them without exception, are very into sports, every kind of sport, but mostly like college football. I guess depending on the time of the year is what they care about or whatever.
Yeah.
But
seasonal madness.
Every single morning starts with an exchange of, and it's this kind of thing. Well, let's say Ohio State was playing West Virginia.
Yeah.
And I'm a West Virginia fan. Then it's our offensive line had your number.
Yeah.
And you go, no, but we had you. I don't even know the terms. We had you in the backfield or something, whatever the fuck. You know what I mean? So
we got you on the back end.
Yeah. So it's that, right? And I'm like, I used to be into sports. I used never football that much, but like obsessed about baseball, happy to talk about baseball with anybody at any time. But now I'm like, I'm just sitting there and I'm like, dude, what world is it? But I know what world it is. Like, I know it's not like completely foreign, but I'm like, and then I get a little panicky because I'm like, they're gonna know I'm a fucking freak. Because I'm like, dude, I'll just kind of like chuckle. I'll be like, that's crazy. I'll be like, wow, he threw it that far or some bullshit, and then I'll like wander off to get water or something. I'm like, dude, I have nothing in common with these people.
I say a mantra to myself in the morning when I'm making my fucking coffee before I go in, dude. Only work things.
Yeah. Dude, you do struggle with that.
Only work things, dude. Like I like say it out loud to myself, dude. I got some fucking crystal bracelets to like fucking fit. I got some fidget. Yeah. I got some grown ass man.
Like prayer beads.
Yeah, like fidget. Dude, so when I hear him saying something that's just fucking outrageous, I'm like, I heard something the other day. It was somebody was talking on behalf of like Dan Crenshaw or something like that.
Like as if that guy's not a complete fuckhead.
Yeah, it was so basically they were talking. It was back in the back corner, so I didn't really hear all of it, but it was essentially what the line of speaking was. So I didn't hear like who was pro and con against old fucking One Eye, but basically it was like all these people that are discovering all this corruption, like everything we talk about,
all
like,
the
hey,
Doge
bro,
and stuff.
Yeah, you can't be a congressman and your paycheck is $175,000 a year or something,
and you're worth $43 million.
Yeah. And you're worth like, so they were pointing out
in Pelosi's case.
Yeah, this Crenshaw dude was obviously on the fucking take.
Yeah.
Right. And so the guy was like, well, no, here's what you do. You don't get rid of a guy like that because he's useful, right? You're like, you own him. This is coming from active duty service members, bro. Like,
well, you could say that's. Are you sure he was saying it as if that's good, or just saying it as because that sounds like something we'd say?
Well, yes, but I'm not charged with like ensuring the Constitution stays intact.
Oh, wait, a government, not someone in your workplace. A government person was saying that.
Well, yes, because I work in.
Oh, so it was someone at work.
Yes.
Okay. All right. Okay.
Yes.
And they were saying it as if like that's okay.
Right. That you would just blackmail this fucking criminal who's been doing insider trading, allegedly, dude, unbeknownst to me. I don't know. I'm not a lawyer or anything. I'm just saying what I suspect.
No skin off my nuts because I'm walking around with the understanding that the United States government is the public-facing synthetic democracy entity of a multinational criminal organization that is probably at the highest levels run by some sort of life form or entity that is not even entirely human. All right.
So anyways,
I kicked some shit.
Yeah, it's
fake anyway.
Well, at this point, it's ludicrous for me to even think that anybody in the military would be mildly concerned about the Constitution. I'm just a fucking retard for even like it's like thinking that like you and like this your ex might get together and like make it magical again.
Well, so like with all this stuff that's going on right now with the Doge and Musk and Trump doing all this stuff, I was texting with Ryan. And I just thought, I'm like, this is like the snake shedding its skin,
Yeah.
I think that, again, when I see something I like, I'll say I like it. So what do I like? I like them firing the chairman of the Joint Chiefs. That guy sucks.
I like him closing USAID.
There's going to be some fallout for that. Because this is the other thing. I do think that they use our foreign policy or, State Department, the CIA, USAID. That's our soft power stuff, right? There's a reason why we do all that shit. Like our economy is dependent upon a lot of that.
So what if what we're actually seeing is it's being presented to us that all of this foreign facing corruption shit is being stripped away as a positive. Now we're like, okay, yeah, great. Do all that shit. Now, what if what is actually happening is like the quarantining of America, or not necessarily quarantining, but basically it's the retrograde essentially.
Yeah. We're pulling back.
Because look, folks, and I guess we'll find out with this Taiwan thing, but there's not a single chance in hell we could stop China from taking Taiwan. We would have, it would have to,
no.
If the thing goes down, China is going to take Taiwan. That is an uncontested fact, right? They've got billions of people, even if they just loaded them, unless you want to start talking about nuclear war,
right? Conventional war, dude.
So then what are we talking about? We're gonna create this giant shipbuilding thing. The fucking flowers.
I can tell you right now,
right?
Dude, this is my work. We do not have, and this is not spilling any beans. This is a matter of public record. Dude, even Palmer Lucky's goofy ass.
Yeah, he was on Sean Ryan
talking about this very thing about we cannot come close to matching China's shipbuilding capacity right now. And what I'm learning, just because it's a new industry for me, but the time it takes, this is what makes like the World War II stuff all the more fascinating. Like the time it takes to ramp up an industrial operation of any kind, dude, just stuff like the stuff we make is so complicated now, and so the tolerances are so tight on stuff like a submarine. We're talking about, they have this thing called SubSafe, and it's like, what would fly on a surface ship? Well, this pump, this fucking thing has to be built to these tolerances. On the sub, these motherfuckers are
deep
under deep pressure, deep under the ground. Nothing can fuck up. You know what I mean? So it's like there's these requirements, and dude, for a company to get their act together to produce this stuff at that quality for the Navy in the quantities they need and the time they need it's very hard, and it requires these CNC machines that, dude, that's a they call it like dickhead, like that's like unskilled labor almost, these machine operators. But I see the shit and I'm like, they're fucking robots that these have to program, and it's all pretty fascinating shit to me. But it's not something, dude. It's not like, okay, we just need to stand up a forge, start pouring some fucking steel, and let's make some fucking T-55s or something. That's not what this is.
I mean, maybe if we were cranking out 30-foot long diesel submarines at like 100 at a fucking pop.
Yeah, then we could talk more shit.
Yeah, then we could talk more shit.
Dude, we're seeing the entailment of that right now. Like, part of the reason why Ukraine is not able to withstand, to get Russia off them, even with all of our money and weapons going in there, is because Russia has an industrial base. They have a log chain that goes directly to where they're fighting, like China. Yeah. So China, Taiwan, dude, they wouldn't even need to engage their industrial base because we're not getting past their first batch of shit.
Right. We're not gonna pass our first island,
because guess what? They have technology. They have anti-air stuff. They have hypersonics. dude, how many Joint Strike Fighters do you think we could lose before we, or how many aircraft carriers do you think we could absorb hypersonic missiles on before we're like, oh shit,
dude? How many are the American people going to take?
That depends on the propaganda, and you do another Pearl Harbor, you get everybody activated, dude. And that's the really scary part, is like, we're as susceptible to believing a false flag as we ever been. Dude, there are more truther types now. Like, there's definitely more people now. Let's take 9/11 for example, right? When those 9/11 truther movies first came out, it was like controversial. You could be like, dude, I think maybe 9/11, people would be like, fuck you, motherfucker.
Right.
Yeah, and they were like, America. But now you're like, I'm pretty sure Mossad did it. I'm not sure. Yeah, people are like, yeah, something weird. Most people are like, yeah, something weird.
It's gone through enough thawing and cooling. But if you ask those same people if COVID, if the thing.
Yeah. I think you can say it now, but let's not risk it.
Yeah, if the thing that shall not be named from 4 fucking years ago was a psyop,
the naughty sniffles.
yeah, if the I don't even know what the fuck you're supposed to say these days, man. If the ouchie jab isn't a fucking chemical weapon,
Dude, Woodstock's
I mean,
that's another one right now. It's like it's funny. Like for a while, any of these things, I'd catch I'd catch a clip of it and I'd be real interested.
yeah,
The stuff where it's like myocarditis is up, incidence of cancer and stuff. I've just seen
apropos of nothing, people.
Yeah,
Yeah.
just for whatever
Yeah,
reason.
for whatever reason.
But it's like I'm not even interested anymore. Like I feel bad for. I do really think that people have been injured by that, and I think that people's lifespans. I think massive amounts of people have had their lifespan significantly shortened by taking that medicine, and I feel bad for them, dude. When we were in the middle of it, I was like anybody that was like pro that whole thing, I was like mad at
because they were talking about putting us in camps.
Yeah, they were fucking
Yeah,
pretty
dude.
hard, dude.
I was like, I'll fucking kill you, right?
Yeah.
I mean, that.
So the anger part has like calmed down, and like, dude, most people I know,
Yeah,
which is that's just
it's crazy. And a lot. I mean, the ones that I know that are honest about it say like, yeah, I shouldn't have fucking done that.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
But the next one's coming, and if it's not that, it's if it's not that specific thing, it's something else, and people, because they still like, dude, I think people will accept that they got lied to about that, but it's like they'll pick an explanation that they can tolerate that doesn't shatter their whole paradigm.
Right.
So an example of that would be, well, these pharmaceutical companies are evil. They did this to maximize their profits. They don't care about human beings. That explains all of this.
But we got a guy in now that does. Is the story, right?
Dude, we got a guy in now who has an afflicted voice thing, probably from eating pussy. Like then I'm not saying that for no reason. So he says he was vaccine injured from like a flu vaccine or something. But, and I heard this on Owen Benjamin like a long time ago, but like, and I read this myself. Like there was an article written about him like 20 or 30 years ago or whatever. And big part of the article was him and one of his other Kennedy cousins were in a competition with one another to see who could eat the most amount of vagina. Okay. So he had access to probably like, he's like one of those guys, he's a Kennedy. So we're probably talking about like on a daily basis. If you average it, he's probably like he's on some like who's the black guy that like was famous for banging like
Wilt Chamberlain.
Yeah, he's probably on some Wilt Chamberlain level shit, right? And if he's
his ex-wife hung herself.
Well, that's what, yeah. So if he's purposefully,
I mean, realistically though, if that was a thing, I'd sound like fucking Stephen Hawking.
Yeah. I'm not saying everybody gets it, but I'm saying that to me is a more likely explanation than the other thing. But just on his character in general, like, dude, he, for whatever reason, right? He's a Kennedy, so you have unlimited resources, right? Like money's no object, right? Yeah. The woman that he was married to, that was the mother of his children, hung herself because of all of his philandering. And
that's a rough one, man.
Yeah, dude. Like, okay, so fine, but you're not a good guy. Like, I'm not like,
dude. The way I look at it like this is they killed his fucking dad.
Yeah. Yeah.
Shot his dad dead in a fucking kitchen.
Yeah. And his uncle.
Blew his uncle's head off.
Yes.
Killed his fucking cousin in a plane.
Mm-hmm.
Allegedly.
Mm-hmm.
Like the only person, and then he joins the Democratic Party.
Yeah.
The only person who's not miffed by having family members killed off is an organized crime member. It's like in the movie Goodfellas, when they find out that Joe Pesci got whacked.
Yeah.
They're all broken up about it.
But they accept it.
But they're like, hey, it's all greaseball shit. You just got to fucking roll with the punches.
I think that if you're in that world, that is a very rational and reasonable orientation to have if you want to thrive and survive. Like, yeah, of course you would prefer that people in your gang don't get whacked, but you can pull the thread on you and be like, well, he did do this. Dude, it's like there's reasons. Like,
yes,
that happened because of XYZ, and that's how the system works.
In the Godfather movie, the Godfather brings the other crime families in. He's like, hey, I'm willing to forego any sort of vengeance for the death of my son
Yeah.
for the good of this thing of ours.
Yeah. Would trade.
Yeah. Hey, you know,
Dude, I
now
wonder-
nothing more should happen, you know, but like
that I wonder if that's part of the programming too, is this where it's like we get programmed to think that criminality has a certain look to it, right? So mafia movies,
I think about this all the time.
gang banging mafia movies, whatever it is, like that's what we're shown criminality is. But they don't show you like Hillary Clinton in a pantsuit, and for you to understand that's a type of criminal too, and the most lethal kind, the most pernicious kind of crime. Like you can get dude, like it's criminal. Of course, Russia invaded Ukraine, and okay, fine, but like it's criminal that people like women in pantsuits have extended that war to the tune of hundreds of thousands of dead young Slavic men. No shade on them. Someone invaded their country. They're a bitch made if they don't pick up a rifle and go try to handle it. I have nothing against like the Ukrainian armed forces, right? I'm just saying unnecessarily and for reasons that don't have anything to do with the freedom and sovereignty of Ukraine, that war has been extended by people like our democratic political, well, Republicans too, our neoliberal world order.
Well, Victoria Nuland specifically.
Yeah, that's crime. Like,
yeah,
that's crime, dude. Like, some Italian guys, run all the laundry somewhere, and if someone else tries to open a laundry, they fucking light it on fire. Okay, that's small potatoes compared to
NATO.
Yeah, yeah, dude, that's another one.
Hey, NATO's like, hey, you don't want nothing bad happening to your country, right? Right. And
dude,
then if you join our gang, you have to go, well, hey, your comm system doesn't talk with our comm system. So since your comm system doesn't talk with our comm system, you got to take a loan out from the fucking Bank of International Settlements.
Yeah, yeah.
And you got to slide that money straight over to Harris, SAIC.
By the way, since you did take that money, abortion's about to be legal in your country. Not only that, it's gonna be a sacrament. Next thing is gay marriage is on the table. Like, hey, dude, you're
sister child. Yeah,
dude. But speaking of
doing
NATO
some butt stuff.
Speaking of NATO, so these are in the realm of things that I'm allowing myself to enjoy. Yeah. Is was it Hegseth? Hegseth goes over to Germany and starts talking shit. Anyway, who else was it? Rubio, he's Secretary of State. Somebody, they just had a thing in Germany and like really bummed out all the European leaders because they were basically like, you guys are going to pay for NATO or we're not going to be in it anymore. And then so they got all bristled and were like, Europe doesn't need America, all this bullshit, right? And it's like, this is one thing and again, I'm sure there's some ulterior motive, but I do like that Trump has been saying for years. He's like, every time the subject comes up, he's like basically looks at the numbers and he's like, what? Why are we paying for all this shit? They need to pay for it.
Yeah.
And then if he's actually, I'm not on some Trump dick or anything. I'm just saying it's cool. Like, dude,
I will call hits and misses, man.
He's doing gangster shit.
Yeah.
He's saying like, hey, and it's funny because like when you're in it and you have this thing called patriotism and they, fly stealth fighters over the fucking football games and stuff. It's like, you rationalize it, but what's really going on is we are trying to reassert ourselves as the big swinging dick on the planet, and not necessarily like with the same way we were doing it. It's more on like a Trump vibe, which is like art of the deal stuff, less neoliberal. We'll just kill everybody, and more like, no, we're gonna do this in a business way. Which is still, dude, at the end of the day, it's still, what it is. But
if it keeps the Ponzi scheme moving forward a little while longer, because we could just be a bunch of negative Nancys. I don't think that's the case. But so if he gets rid of income tax and he gets rid of property tax.
Yeah, he's fucking cool.
Like, okay, life just got better. I'm not.
What's the potential downside? Like, what's the thing to be on the lookout for if he starts doing stuff?
I think
like
the bolo is this, man. I think it's going to be. I think what we were trying to get to maybe before we kicked the thing out was that we were not going to be projecting power overseas.
Yeah.
Now,
but we have to.
But not necessarily. He can bring all that shit back, right?
Okay.
Like the 900 fucking military bases, etc. So I think what's going to happen is instead of us doing all this wild, violent shit overseas, we're going to do it right here in our own backyard. So we just sent 500-ish, seventh group guys
to do
to go do
embedded training.
Yeah. Right. Advise and assist. I don't know if it's advise, assist a company yet down in Mexico. So look, man, I mean, you got a lot of dudes on there like your Hooksteads and everything on the internet. Like I'm sorry, folks. Like Delta Force and SEAL Team 6 is super cool, man. But there's like 12 of those dudes.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying. There's probably less than 1,000. I'd have to fucking guess active assaulters between the two of those fucking crews.
Yeah,
probably way less.
I think so, way less. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean that'd be. Yeah, I would guess that there's fucking less than that.
Yeah, if you're just counting like.
Right.
Like operators.
So that's not the entire fucking military. Now we're talking about cartels, and when you're talking about a cartel, it's probably a little bit of hyperbole, but we're talking about essentially whole swaths of fucking chunks of Mexico where like the Sinaloa cartel just runs this whole fucking area.
Yeah, it's the government.
I mean,
they're the government in those regions.
Yeah, I saw a video of Chapo's kid get arrested. Didn't even leave the premises, and shortly thereafter, like a company-sized element of Sicarios showed up.
And unarrested him,
dude.
Yeah,
like they were like in up armored dump trucks.
Yeah, they get in. They have wild shit,
dude. There was dudes laying in the prone with like 50 caliber machine guns and shit.
Yeah,
no, a sasser. There was a dude laying on the street.
They're big on like 50 cals. Yeah.
Now this is where people like be like, oh yeah, we got A10 Warthogs and all this shit. Like, hey, cool, man. That's not what I'm getting at. What I'm getting at is there's only going to be so much damage that the cartel is willing to soak up downrange in Mexico before they're like, ding, oh yeah, I own half the Mexicans in Colorado.
That's in Arizona. And from what I understand, key people in government in a lot of these places.
Check this one out, man. So in our local area, I was in a college carpentry class. Well, both the teacher and the kids were referring to a family in this area, a Hispanic family, as cartel members.
Oh, like everyone knows.
Yeah. So it wasn't like the teacher and the other kids in the class like pre-briefed that shit just for my benefit, right? So there's multiple sources in there saying that it is known or suspected that family is a cartel family.
Yeah,
they own a huge fucking ranch, bro. It's like it's massive. You know, you drive through it on the way to town.
What's their interest out here? Just
moving work up the corridor here.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a pretty big corridor that goes right.
That's true. Yeah.
Yeah, you know. And this place was I guess I didn't know, but this place got hit by the opiate epidemic pretty hard.
Every rural place.
So we go to pick cherries with another neighbor, totally different person, right? Totally like, and just as a conversation's sake, as we cruise by this place, I'm like, hey, I heard this fucking joint right here is a cartel place. And she's lived here for like off and on, left to go do work somewhere else, came back like 30 years.
Yeah.
She's like, yeah.
She just knows. Yeah.
Yeah. So just knows it. Like, so what I'm saying is like Pablo Escobar used to dump fucking passenger planes, bro. Like, so all these people that are like happy now that we're about to go to war with these cartels because your kids can't fucking stop snorting coke.
Yeah, dude.
You know what I'm saying? Because it's hard being a soccer mom, so you want a little booger sugar every now and again. Like, dude, it ain't going to be like very long until there's VBIEDs getting cranked off in Winston's fucking Salem, dude. Like, Raleigh will get the VBID.
You know what could end it? We just decriminalize drugs and just trade it as if it's any other commodity.
Yeah.
Like, dude,
like cocaine's like high dollar booze.
This is on some libertarian bullshit, but like, and I'm not a libertarian. It's a broken philosophy, but like, okay, I don't think in a high trust, moral, healthy society, you wouldn't need the government to use force to stop you from hurting yourself with chemicals.
Right.
Okay. You would fix that culturally. And, you know, it's not like if I'm imagining a perfect world, it would just be, it would be a sad fact of life that people, the path is narrow and you stray off to the side. And one of the places you can wander into is a bag of fentanyl and you fucking bend yourself in half and die on the corner. That's sad. But it's as sad as anything else. It's as sad as, your parents don't don't pay enough attention to you to stop you from fucking eating flaming hot Cheetos until you get diabetes and they cut your fucking foot off. You know, like,
They
dude,
are
these
delicious.
things, the government should not be your fucking mom.
Right.
They should be, what the government should be doing is only that which is necessary to make sure that people had the external security situation so that they could thrive. And actually probably take their hands off the fucking economy too.
Dude, and what's the difference between somebody deciding they're going to snort some coke and some billionaire saying like, oh, we're all up here tripping off of this weird peptide one molecule off
Yeah.
fucking designer thing.
Here's my 2 16-year-old blood bags that come everywhere with me. Well, it's like cocaine's illegal, but I could go, at 18 years old, I could go to the motorcycle dealership, buy a Gixxer 1000 and launch myself down I-5 at 140 miles an hour
You
into
can
the back of
also
a semi truck.
buy enough nicotine to OD. You fucking smoke a carton of cigarettes back to back and you're fucking lights out in Brooklyn, man. Like,
I think that I don't know. Like, I think that the criminal, we because of our shady black ops bullshit, like we've used this war on drugs to do all kinds of, it's stupid. We're not trying to, there's no war on drugs. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, so I think these wizards basically forecasted the end of the Ponzi scheme and the projection of power, because sooner or later people are going to design better air defense systems, And so they've decided, until we get to the point where we can launch waves of AI drones and redo this shit, we'll have this great reawakening once we rebuild the American arsenal.
Right. Once we get an advantage again.
Yeah. In between that time, they're going to keep the fucking military spinning by fighting here in the fucking streets. And so this is my assessment. What's going to happen is they even called them terrorists. They're like, hey, these cartels are now terrorists, right?
They designated them as.
Yeah. So now what will happen is it'll be like, oh, around Aurora where Tren de Agua is like, oh, this is an orange sector citizen for terrorism. And in an orange sector, you have less motherfucking rights.
Yeah.
Like you.
Dude, and Andrew will get to use all their
all their
gadgets,
all their gadgets and widgets, and we'll have. I think Palmer Luckey got the contract for the biometric AI fucking border fence.
That makes sense.
So yeah, and so here's the other thing, dude. When some fucking crew of people who's used to just beheading 50 people down in Mexico rolls up into picket fence Idaho, and beheads like 50 fucking people, the American people are going to start demanding fucking RoboCop.
That's a good point. Absolutely.
They're going to demand that something be done about these people.
They'd be like, why isn't there an autonomous gun turret in my Big Lots parking lot?
Right.
What do we got to do?
Exactly. Why isn't Ed
City Council?
Dude, why isn't Ed 209 in my fucking parking lot? Dude, here's the fucking, let me just bring this up since we're talking about it.
It's getting wild.
That's where I'm assessing is going.
That makes sense.
Did you look into this fucking ass clown yet, dude? His name is Curtis Yarvin.
Oh, I went through dude. I
figured you.
I spent a lot of time reading. I was very pro Curtis Yarvin for when I first started reading him, but now I have him looped in with these other. Well, he's
one
of those. He's of the faith tradition that thinks that Jesus Christ is burning in excrement. Just saying.
Where is I'm looking?
RoboCop's such a sick movie, dude.
Looking for the fucking scene where this isn't it.
Bitches leave. Best line in the movie.
There's a scene. The fuck. Hold on. Sorry, folks.
Did they redo RoboCop and make another one?
They did, but it's not that great. Okay, so to set the scene, and this kind of sums up a lot of things, but it'll sum it up because if everybody forgot, the purpose or the theory behind RoboCop was OCP, Omni Consumer Products, just a nameless, faceless, fucking. I mean, I think their logo is an octagon. Corporate egregore.
Yeah.
Is essentially in using organized crime to destroy and the police department and
Yep.
get the entirety of Detroit crime ridden and destroyed, so they can rebuild it.
Yes.
And call it Delta City. Delta is, of course, a triangle.
Yeah.
Alpha, beta, delta, whatever, omega, delta, however the fuck the alphabet goes. Anyways, Delta City is Triangle City, is fucking Pyramid City, essentially. So take of like burning down Los Angeles, blowing up the fucking Ukraine. They're going to destroy it.
George Floyd riots.
Gaza.
Yeah.
They're going to destroy it so they can rebuild it. So what he's talking about here is Ed 209, the fucking robot, right? The thing just shoots up somebody in a boardroom. So this young executive jumps up. He's like, "Hey, I've got my cyborg program ready to, because they're cutthroating each other. I've got my cyborg program and the fucking wings ready." Another thing he said was, "We've put applicants in area. We've put prospective applicants. Applicants wasn't the word, in areas where they're highly likely to be need to put in our robot suit."
Okay.
So essentially, they scanned the area and found dudes like Irish Catholics like Murphy, and transferred his ass. Somebody who they think would survive the cyborg programming.
Okay.
Because of duty and everything, transfer his ass to a place where he might get fucking murked.
Yeah. So they could use him.
Yeah. So in my mind, like when you hear that, I think of like, how are we going to get brain chips into people? Oh, we take a bunch of veterans and get all their fucking legs and arms blown off.
Yeah.
And then when the brain chip comes out, we're like, "Hey, bro,
how'd you like to walk again?"
How'd you like to walk again? You know what I'm saying? So what he's about to say about Ed 209 right here is why we're going to get him on the fucking streets. And it's why the wars always fucking win. He's like, "Hey, we got a contract for him. And now this, right?"
I had a guaranteed military sale with Ed 209. Renovation program. Spare parts for 25 years. Who cares if it worked or not?
Dude,
that's it.
And
who cares if it fucking works?
And that's, dude, the amount of money at stake with these government contracts, it's dude, whole communities and towns and stuff are built around certain projects. You know what I mean? Like, dude, if you shut off the Columbia or Virginia nuclear submarine program, 2 entire Newport News and General Dynamics electric boat shipyards, that's what they mostly do, bro. That's a lot of jobs, a lot of economic activity.
As it spirals out.
So as it spirals out. So this is all this economic activity that's based on the reality that we are either going to at some point need to use this stuff for war or you know what I mean? It's like you have to have that. In order to power this whole economy, you have to be in a wartime economy.
Yeah.
This is what happened at the end of World War. We fired up the industrial base for World War II, and we never shut it off. We just maintained the warlike economy for reasons. Go find reasons. Go make fucking reasons.
Yeah, go make a reason. Somebody could call the CIA up. We need a reason to fucking send this
dude. And it's like
here.
you can understand how it happens. Like, especially if you're, one of these, if you're this group of elites that already. They're born in, most of those guys are born into a situation where they are apart and separate from the people that they are the elites over, right? So it's like, hey, you're making decisions on behalf, dude. Okay, like the person in Walmart, right? That's like barely alive, right? Like if you're the elites, like you're aware of those people, you know they exist. Like, we feel like we're better because we're a couple rungs up the thing from them, but like these people are managing hundreds of millions of people in their like fates, basically.
Yeah.
So I'm not defending them, but I'm saying they might have a completely pragmatic view of it where they're like, do you care more about the people we're about to fuck over in Chad or, these people here?
Well, I think Kissinger had a name for that. It was something like the convenient victims and inconvenient victims or something like that.
Yeah. I mean, dude,
like the Vietnamese are like, hey, sorry.
Yeah, and if you're capable of that kind of pragmatic thinking, if they're evil or if they're just so disconnected from their morality or they have a different morality, it's different. And morality is another interesting one because, dude, even people that are decent, like, let's just take like, a handful of people we know or whatever. In that group, you're going to have people that if you really pulled the thread on it and you said, what do you base your moral judgments on? Now, one person might say, well, the Christian ethical system, and then that's handled. They know. Then someone else would be like, have the same kind of morality, but maybe they're not 100% sure where it comes from, and so, but there's these people, the elites, who have a different one where it's like, well, I think that my actions will result in less harm overall. So that's why I'm willing to go have 600,000 Ukrainians die in battle. Because I think that ultimately,
Yeah, it's like Madeleine Albright.
yeah, right. Yeah, was it worth it?
Yeah, 500,000 Iraqi kids or whatever
Yeah,
she
she's
said.
like, yeah, totally.
Yeah, like
easy.
Yeah, I worked it out on a cocktail napkin.
Yeah.
I was like, how many of these motherfuckers we got to kill?
Yeah.
I guess we can sort of pivot towards this at the end of it.
Okay.
Is it worth going back to burning books? So basically, the reason
book. Okay.
The reason why I'm asking this is the printing press is essentially the first weapon of mass destruction.
Okay.
And because it's the first time you could get mass deception out.
Yeah.
Or really start to pump out mind viruses.
Yep.
A lot of not every piece of information is fucking good information, dude. Like you take this computer, for example, right here, like everybody knows there's useless shit on your computer that's running useless programs. It's gumming up the fucking works.
Yep.
You wish you would have never installed it. Now you can't get the fuck out of there, So as you have a son, multiple, and I'm looking to have a kid, and I'm like, I think about being a dad a lot, and I think most of it's just, and correct me if I'm wrong, is just trying to keep mind viruses out of your fucking children's heads, like.
Yes.
But so books like The Prince.
Machiavelli?
From Machiavelli,
yeah.
Right? Because what we were talking about just a second ago is a different morality.
Yeah.
There's just so I guess, is it worth having that book around? Because nobody picks up that fucking book and is like, what? I bet there's people that operate like this, and I bet it through discernment and deduction, I can fucking identify them, and we could name them who are operating.
That would be the reason to keep the book.
Yeah, who are operating on a left-hand path.
Yeah, I think you got to keep the book, because that modus operandi is out there in the fucking in the ether.
And it's got evidence. You can see it,
dude. And also like knowing about it. So it all goes back to your moral foundation, right? That's like, with that intact, you can encounter any information, if you already know in advance what the moral choices are, then you can encounter the information, I think.
Because I was thinking, do we just start destroying shit that
we'll burn the trans books?
Well, that's 1939. That's Weimar Germany shit.
Dang it, Hitler again.
I guess the hole in my thinking with that was that, those tomes and those volumes already exist in the lexicon of where they teach a fucking 5-year-old the Prince.
Yeah.
Like, hey, why haven't you backstabbed your little brother? Why hasn't your little brother committed suicide yet?
Yeah.
You haven't tortured him enough. What the fuck is wrong with you? Like, because I think about, building a library here, and there's going to be books where I'm like, do we put them behind like a curtain, and it's like the elders,
put them up higher?
We put them up higher, and like, so after you've shown that you can operate, correctly under these other books, your Plotinus and everything, then so that what your opposition is doing, it's a mystery school. At some point, we recognize that one of the young men is like ready to take a look at some of these other books.
Yeah. Because
we know and we trust that they're not going to use that fucking dark magic, because that's what it is.
Dude, and the other aspect, like I haven't got to this part yet because my kid's too young, but like I think if you're too directive, I think it's natural for young men to rebel against their father's world. It's like, dude, almost everybody does, like,
yeah, I mean, that's how you get Lucifer, right?
Push back against like your father's like worldview, and then at a certain point you encounter the realities of the world, and then you kind of understand more about what he was trying to do. But like, you'd want to be real careful about being like, there's gotta be some free play in there for them to encounter the wrong thing, experiment with it, where it's low risk.
Yeah.
And then I don't know.
It's almost like,
again, like I said, I haven't got to this part, but like, now again, that's also like my dad like didn't do anything with me. So it's like, I don't know. I was just kind of free play anyway, but I wasn't like, it wasn't much danger of me encountering like a book, I'd encounter like a Playboy or something before I'd get to like, Machiavelli.
So there was danger, but not in that
not in that way. There
Not in
was
that way.
like,
there was like self-sabotaging danger.
but-
Like,
but I think the fact that you even like think that way is 1,000%. Dude, most, even good parents, they're not, dude, people are so tyrannized by this fucking reality that we live. Most homes are two income, both people working.
yeah,
Dude, and then it's like you're people in a daycare are spending the time with your kid all day. You're only with it's dude, honestly, like that's what's worth rebelling against. Like this we got the feminism, like they sold it to, and again, it's nothing against women, but like, you're really trying to tell me that the requirement for both parents to spend all day apart from one another and their children to work so that you could like have a a Nissan Armada and fucking go to fucking Disney once a year? Like, what are you doing?
dude, we could peel the onion and look back to this lady whose last name is Belmont, who was a massive movement in women's suffrage in 1920s. The Belmont name is attached to the Belmont horse races.
Okay, yeah,
Yeah.
I've heard that name. Yeah.
Because her husband had a thing for horse racing.
Okay.
Another thing her husband was super hip to was he was one of the Rothschilds guys.
Oh Jesus!
in America, and helped.
Why
like,
am I not surprised?
And help like foment the fucking Civil War, and yeah, and so then his old lady is like super into pushing women's suffrage and all this crazy shit.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah, man, it's nonsense.
You might see a move back. I mean, who knows? Like, I'm interested. I'm watching the Trump Musk thing with interest and see what they're gonna do. Like, again, if it's a thing I like, then I like it. But at the end of the day, I think that they're up to no good long term. Like, long term, they're up to no good. Dude, all they got to do is like own the libs and say, like, all Musk has to do is like tweet shit talk, impregnate a bunch of women. He just impregnated some right wing influencer chick again, but like, talk shit against the libs, and then all the MAGA people are like,
yeah,
they worship him.
Yeah,
like, forget the like Baphomet, dude. It must be very hard for a guy like Musk to have any respect for these MAGA people when he's like so obvious and blatant, and they're like, they still don't get it. Like, he's a fucking weirdo, total weirdo, but they like him.
Isn't he just like a direct descendant of like some Dutch East Indies?
Well, his dad owned a emerald mine,
as they do.
but then his mom was like a model. You've seen all that shit with her with the occult shit.
Yeah. She looks like Cruella DeVille.
But also, dude, even all that symbolism stuff, like, I think some of that, I think a lot of it is like some of these models, I don't even think they really know what the fuck they're doing. I think there's like a bunch of poses they make these chicks make, and those are some of them.
Yeah.
I think maybe the people that own the modeling company are definitely fucking Luciferian freaks.
Or own
like,
the magazine.
Yeah, or own the I just don't think all these people are like fucking jerking off in coffins and shit every time you see them fucking covering up one of their eyes,
No, statistically it probably doesn't. Yeah. But then you see the Diddy White Party and you're like, oh, I don't know.
Shit, they definitely are. Oh, one more thing before we cut it.
Yeah.
Allegedly, Pam Bondi, who's her name? Pam Bondi, the Attorney General.
Okay.
She's tweeted, has the Epstein client list on her desk, is going over it, and will be released to the public very soon.
Do we have
how redacted is that thing going to be? Do you think they're just going to like redact all the right wing people? Because that's who's on power now. So when you have power, you can do a lot of shit.
The only way that it doesn't go to some limited hangout thing,
it's going to be a limited hangout, is
if they really do want the country to swing towards like hardcore Christianity, but like an old school hybrid where you accept like mass violence.
Yeah, well, that's not going to be hard. This is what I'm learning about Christianity. Like, did you see the crazy lady that's the faith leader?
No.
Trump named this faith leader. She's a evangelical Protestant female pastor, which is whatever. But like, she's completely insane. Like, totally, like one of those, like, she speaks in tongues, like hibbida, like totally insane, right? they fill these evangelicals. They fill churches full of these people. That dude, you could get these people. They have huge Israeli flags behind the pulpit and stuff. You could get those people to do anything. Like their discernment is zero. It's zero.
Dude, old Bobby Kennedy said that every day. I think it was on during his whatever the fuck they call it, inauguration, when you get signed his swearing in speech.
I'm gonna be in charge of your health.
He said that every day for the last 20 years, I fell on my knees and I prayed to God.
Yeah.
And I'm like, player.
Did you though?
Every day for the last 20 years.
You got on your knees and did something.
Yeah, you got on your knees and prayed to who? Fucking Moloch?
Yeah.
Like the Christian God?
Speaking of that, Kash Patel. Now I don't like the FBI, so I'm here for it. Like whatever he's gonna do. But we have like a crazy-eyed Indian gentleman running the FBI.
Well, we have an Indian in the fucking office of director of national security.
But Kash Patel swears in, not on the Bible, on the Bhagavad Gita.
Okay,
which is a dope book, but it's not, dude. It's
not a religious text, really.
Well, it's a pagan war story.
Yeah,
like it's a cool like story, but it's like that's not. I didn't think that the Bhagavad Gita is like it's not their Bible.
Well,
that'd be like
it's got some interesting sayings in it, like "I am become death, the destroyer of worlds."
Yeah, dude, but it's like why would you do that? Like, this is the kind of thing. These people are freaks. Like even though now it's it's the right wing type people in there, but like in almost every case, whichever government person I'm looking at is like an observable, obvious freak. Or, you're like you're not like Matt Gaetz. You're like you're weird. Like fucking Chuck Schumer. Like you're a guy. Like what?
Adam Schiff.
Yeah, you people are freaks. Like where's the normal people? The only politician I actually like and I actually think is like a cool guy is Thomas Massey. I like that guy.
All right, can't picture his face off the top of my head.
His wife just recently died, but he's like a MIT like smart guy, engineer type dude. But him and his wife until she died he built by himself with his hands, a house out on their property. It's 100% off grid solar. It's like all they do is grow food, all this other shit.
Yeah.
He's smart, so he created these little devices. It's a running, or it's like hooked to Wi-Fi or whatever, and it's a up-to-date tally every second of the national debt. And he like puts it on his suit, and he makes a bunch of them. And he hands them out to other government people. He's like, here, like so they can watch it. Like he's a cool, like he's
all right.
But who knows? He's probably up to no good too. I don't know.
Well, we'll see what happens, man.
Yeah.
All
right,
everybody.
Well, shit. This is 150.
Yeah. Hanging there for another 100.
At some point, we're gonna put some more energy and effort into this to try to grow the channel. I appreciate people still listening, but
yeah, I mean, YouTube is creeping back up there. YouTube is like at 100 and some odd now after a couple months.
I think we could. I don't think we say anything anymore that's naughty for YouTube.
No, I mean not. I mean everything we said came true.
Yeah, that doesn't matter though. What matters is what's their rules about. But I think pretty benign shit over here. Like we're just
So we're at 127 subscribers on YouTube. Not too bad. That's only a couple months.
Nice.
Like maybe 4 months or something like that. Yeah, so tell your friends. Share the show.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, help us grow this damn thing, man. Sooner or later, especially if DJT gets rid of income tax, right in that little small section right there, I'm going to build like a 12 by 12 little room basically, which is going to be
Musk is talking
full-time podcast room.
Musk is talking about cutting everybody a check for 5 Gs. So that happens.
That's you and your significant other. So like we get 10 Gs,
I guess. Yeah.
But think of it. So once again, like everybody's like, that's so much more than the $700 bullshit. Where I told you I paid 70 G's in income tax.
Yeah. You giving me $5
and you're cutting $5 grand.
Yeah. Thanks for having some of my money back. But better than a poke in the eye with a stick.
Yeah. I told somebody not too long ago, $5 grand ain't shit. And they're like, yes, it is. I'm like, no, it's not.
It's not really.
It's not really. If you've been broke all your life, $5 grand's a lot of money.
Dude, $5 grand's a lot to spend in the club on bottle service.
There was a couple times in my life. I don't know if I would have got. I've definitely spent $5,000 on like a trip,
Yeah.
a short trip.
Yeah. Like a couple days.
Yeah, like a couple days.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
I think I was out of like the worst I ever did. And it's the douchiest shit. We did me and some of the guys went to Vegas for New Year's
Yeah.
and like did a bottle service thing and the whole nine. And it was like a couple grand each, which wasn't worth it.
No, it never is.
No.
Yeah. Neither is the champagne room.
No. Yeah.
All right.
All right, y'all.
Love you all out there.
Yeah, take it easy.
Later.